What is up, everybody? Welcome to Geeks Around. I'm your executive producer, DeAno Jackson. We are, of course, here for our Walking Dead discussion of the latest episode. Remember, this is a great episode. I liked it a lot. We have a large panel today, so we're going to go ahead and get through intros fairly quickly so we can get started. Starting off, of course, with our editor-in-chief and lead host, Matt Moore. What did you think of this episode, man?
I thought it was great. We were looking forward to some action really getting going finally in this season, and we didn't get a whole lot of that, but at least we got some good stories. So there's that.
Oh, definitely. Senior Community Manager Knuckles Goldberg, what did you think of this one?
First time in a long time, I actually enjoyed this show.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. Todd, what's up? What'd you think of this one?
I'm so glad I didn't have to poo-poo everybody. I thought you guys were gonna hate it, and I was just gonna be frustrated. But I'll already disagree with Matt. I thought there was plenty of action, just in a different way. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Charles, what did you think of this one?
I'm in agreement with everyone here. So far, I'd have to say this episode was possibly the best episode of the season so far.
Yeah, I'd actually kind of agree with that. Isaiah?
Mm-hmm. It was a good episode. There were some issues I had with a lot of it, but overall, it was a good episode. Compared to other episodes before it, this is still a good episode.
All right, most certainly not least, Lou Rod.
I loved it. I just literally finished watching it again for the second time because I missed some parts the first time, and honestly, we're just going to take it by force.
Yeah, it was like that was very telling at the end. It's like if push comes to shove. I think it was just interesting in this episode, just kind of seeing everyone having to get used to what it's like living in a semi-normal society after all the shit they've been through.
Now I'm going to jump right in and disagree with you, DeAno. You said last but not least Lou Rod. I disagree.
Oh, dang, it's like that?
It's a little bit of a bitch being the new guy, even though he's been with us for a while.
Yeah.
We gotta get some blood in here.
Right. But I think it was still a good thing because it related, because in the comic books it did look like a period where the group had to pretty much settle into their own new environment, and it was really nice to see them like, okay, are we supposed to do something about this? It was like their whole scenario. It was a little bit. It was like a deer in headlights. They didn't know what to do because it was just normal. It was just normal people acting normal. Like, how do we act normal?
Yeah, it was like the survivors got their first taste of suburbia in forever.
Right.
So Isaiah, you mentioned last night that you found this episode really boring. What did you find boring?
Okay, I should really say this now. I was in the Google Hangout and watching this at the same time, so granted, it's not the show's fault.
So
I was going to suggest that.
You were being tortured.
Opening
Isaiah, how many times have we actually said this to you to where when you are doing a hangout, you focus on the hangout. When you're doing a show, you focus on the show. You don't multitask.
No, I'm sorry. Did this start?
No, wait. Before we fall down this rabbit hole, and we while you were on the topic of the comic, because I did want to ask, can you comic readers tell me, without me saying too much, that woman, her husband named Ben? That's question one.
I think he said Ben.
I thought they said Ben too. The other question, without much, is this the same woman from the comics who it's the husband and wife in the comics at Alexandria, or is this a completely different character? I didn't get to look it up first.
I think, if I'm correct, it's like a reversal to me.
Well, that's what I think it is, a reversal, and I think it's genius, and I can't wait to see what happens as a result.
Right. So I think it was better to use the reversal for that type of scenario because it's actually matching modern day times as what we're in right now, but it's more better to open up more air for interesting ideas to come through. And like, switching the role between the husband and wife was a more smarter choice to do because that would introduce more characters.
I got out of that whole Rick and the wife thing before I realized she was married. I think that Rick is going to be her new love interest.
No.
Well, no, not that.
I want to say right now something that I noticed in the episode, and I want to know if the rest of the panel is in agreement. there were a few scenes in this episode where it was between Rick and Michonne, and it led me to believe that it might develop between the two of them.
Well, that's nice.
I've been saying it for years on this discussion. For 2 seasons at least, I'm positive. They're gonna fuck. They're gonna fuck.
I don't know if I agree with Todd's forehead.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if I agree with Todd's forehead either.
I don't agree with Matt's fedora.
And I don't trust it. It was too shiny.
But no, I mean, they have a couple relationships that are like that. And I don't think they're ever going to come to fruition. Like, for example, Daryl and Carol. Like, that's been fucking years, and it has not progressed in any way whatsoever. They just kind of hinted at it, and just left those hints and did not continue on. I think the same thing's going on with Rick and Michonne.
Well, this is one thing. You have a good point, Matt, but I have a counter argument to that. I mean, use a comic book, of course, but it's going to be more.
Yeah, your counter argument is wrong, and I haven't even heard
of
it.
I'm going to say it anyway. Anyways, folks, the main character, Rick Grimes, in the comic book, he actually has a relationship with one of the main characters, which is Andrea. And she's 10 times better than the
Whoa!
Oh, be quiet.
That's a big one. That's one. When I tell people about it, I never say that part.
Well, I have to say to prove Matt wrong. So thank you very much.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't matter. It's like Andrea at this point is long dead.
So no one gives a fuck. Anyways, folks, this seems very plausible, though. Rick and Michonne. Shut up, Wheatus. It's very plausible.
Rick and Michonne's happening. Anybody who says it isn't is a fool. I challenge you all to jalapeno milkshakes with guacamole ranch.
Hey, trust me, it's like I'm not going to disagree with this because it's like I completely agree. It's like I do see eventually, it's like if things keep progressing the way that they are, that eventually Rick and Michonne will be in a relationship. I'm not debating that. Is anybody else interested in debating that?
I don't think so.
Yes.
No.
He won't look her in the eyes ever.
I don't see that.
He never looks in Michonne's eyes.
I don't think the Rick that exists in this world right now is capable of creating that sort of romantic bond. Maybe if he grows as a character quite a bit, maybe at that point, but that's a long time coming. Rick, as he is right now, I don't see him making any romantic bond at all.
I think he can.
Like, I mean, I wouldn't say it would happen soon.
Right, it won't happen.
But
as time progresses,
I would say, like in the next season, I would be surprised if it didn't happen.
Yeah, next season maybe.
I don't see it happening at all with those two.
Yeah, me either.
Those two are very similar though, in many ways. They're both warriors. They know how to survive out there. They're going through so many struggles and losing family members of their own. So they're pretty much the same character in a way.
You know what? Never mind. Moving on.
What? It's really true.
What that leads me to a thought is we saw how Rick dealt with coming to this new suburbia, and basically he was very cautious. He was very paranoid. For at least a couple days, he wasn't very accepting of that. But I wonder, like, we know Michonne wanted this. If she was in charge, how would she have dealt with that? I mean, if she was the one in charge, like, would she have been accepted this new lot in life, like, instantly? Or do you think that if she was in charge, she'd be just as cautious as Rick was?
I think she'd be very cautious as Rick.
Yeah, it's like I agree with that. I think she would have showed caution, because caution in this situation just makes sense. It'd be stupid to not be cautious.
Right.
But speaking of cautious people, it's like the one person that cracked me up the most in this episode was Carol.
Yeah.
It's like I like hurt myself struggling not to laugh like during all of Carol's. Yeah, y'all know like the video interviews and shit, but it's like we saw Carol, the sweet and innocent housewife, and she does the laundry and whatnot. Yeah, and she teaches the children, and not Carol the Terminator, which we know she actually is.
That's so cool.
Carol that killed a girl while staring at flowers.
Yeah, she can switch it off though. She can switch off becoming a killer and not becoming a killer. That's really
Well,
cool
it's
for
like,
a character.
yeah, exactly. It's like I just think that's interesting. Is like I mean for the sake of being a part of this community, it's like the herself that she presented to them wasn't the her that she is now. It's like, and that was something that she did very much on purpose.
The lady
And
who killed two
it really
sick
did tickle
set
me.
them on fire.
I think it's the
How's
environment.
that, Knuckles?
The lady who killed two sick people and set them on fire.
Yeah.
But
Hey, but at least Daryl kept it 100. He took his possum with him everywhere he went.
Oh yeah, I was like, man, Daryl wasn't having any of this shit.
yeah, they're like, man, you smell like shit. Dude.
Like,
Take
yeah,
a shower.
yeah.
No, I
Fuck
didn't.
this real food shit. It's like I got me a squirrel.
Right.
And that's just it. Is Daryl? I mean, Daryl's gotta do something. I mean, he's gotta find a way to fit in somehow.
Town
Right.
drunk. Everybody has a
For a
job. That's
minute.
gonna be his. Town drunk.
Also,
Rick's gonna make him his deputy. Daryl's gonna cry, and Rick's gonna give him a little badge.
Michonne's already his deputy.
right, but also,
Michonne's his official sidekick constable. Like, as far as because she said, what's her name said, I'm gonna make you the constable, Rick, and you too, Michonne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I have a question to ask, though. A really interesting question. So, if we look at the prison and look at Alexandria, you guys can tell from the moods and pretty much the environments behind the group that they feel more relaxed and pretty much they're trying to get relaxed at Alexandria. While the prison, they was relaxed, but not all the way relaxed because they know there's danger out there. So, do you think this environment is more better than the prison if we compare to both?
Yeah, absolutely, it is. It's like, and it's interesting just trying to see everyone acclimate to that. Another acclimation that kind of hit me particularly hard in this was Carl. You know, in that scene where he's hanging out with those teenagers and they're like, oh, we play some video games or shoot some pool or do this and that, and it's, you know, being a normal teenager. But the thing is, Carl has never been a normal teenager before.
Carl's normal teenage try would be, you shot pool, I killed zombies.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, but it's like it was just
I
kind of cool.
shot
Like, I
my
mean,
mom.
seeing the impact of all of this hit him. That for the first time, he was able to do this normal teenager shit that he's never had a chance to experience.
But he doesn't want to be weak, though. That was so interesting because he still had that same persona in prison. He don't want to be weak. But at the same time, he has to bring down those guards so he can actually step more people. That's really going to be a good challenge for Carl to overcome.
Yeah, just trying to become a normal teenager and again in suburbia.
And also,
Pretty sure we got a lot of time to explore that.
Does
Also-
anybody here feel that Glenn's going to be the new scout outside the walls to go make the runs
Oh,
and
definitely.
Oh,
There's no doubt about that. And Glenn is like, that's another scene that cracked me up when I was when it was airing, because Aiden was sitting there. It's like the second he got in Glenn's face, it's like I looked over at Matt. It's like, as we watched this, it's like me, him, and Knuckles were watching this shit together, and I was like, I don't think he wants to fuck with season 5, Glenn. Season 2, Glenn, he might have been able to get away with this shit. Not season 5, Glenn.
no, he's
Season 5, Glenn ain't the motherfucking one. And he proved my point immediately. It's like, I mean, when Aiden tried to hit him, and he just bam,
He took him out with a wrist.
Like he does that shit all the time, and it's just no big deal.
he's used to it.
Yeah, he didn't even really punch the guy. He just fucking he basically moved out of the way and just like dismissed him.
Hey, but Daryl was classic in that scene, boy, because Daryl was going to choke the hell out that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, you want to start something, dog? You want to start something?
Oh yeah. And then it's like one of the motherfuckers like got in Michonne's face. I was like, if you like your head attached to your neck, you might want to take 2 steps back. Just
Right.
put that out
It
there.
was so cool too how you had to break them apart. Like, you gotta stop. You're not outside. You're not outside. You're indoors. But then again, those guys are assholes. Like, you were assholes. You don't know how to do shit. You just felt like you were a rookie. Rookies who are weak. Rick and him been doing this for how long now? Right.
Yeah.
You're weak and pathetic.
And that was something that I found interesting, is that they took all the guns away. But Michonne's primary weapon of choice, like she chooses to make this her main weapon, is the samurai sword. So you have to assume she can kill a lot of motherfuckers with it. And then
Right.
you have fucking Daryl, who has the crossbow. Again, dude's weapon of choice, and you didn't fucking take it away from him. Like, you have to understand, these guys have killed hundreds of walkers with these
And people.
maybe thousands, and you didn't fucking take it away from them because of the fact that it doesn't have it doesn't have bullets. Like, that is some stupid fucking shit. Like, those two people alone could take out the entire fucking neighborhood.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. But I would love to see someone try to make Michonne give up her sword. I would pay money to see that.
Yeah.
They could do an entire episode just based on people trying to get Michonne to give up her sword, and it would be my favorite episode of the show ever.
Right. And
it would certainly be the bloodiest episode of the show ever.
Yeah, it would be. And no,
Listen,
back
Carl had that big ass fucking
Michonne
knife.
is pissed.
But another thing I want to ask though is that you see Rick be more open towards Daryl and Michonne when he has like concerns or things like that nature. Do you think that's going to change over time in a bad or good way, or it won't change at all because they went through their journey? But since they're in a new environment, with their not relationship, but also their talks, their personal talks change. Like some might have disagreements, some might have agreements. Like for a good example, Daryl doesn't like this place, but Michonne likes this place, and Rick is stuck in between the middle. Do you think that's going to happen or not going to happen?
They're going to stay.
Oh, I don't think
I don't
Daryl
understand
doesn't like
the
this place.
question.
I don't think Daryl doesn't like this place. I don't agree with that assumption at all. I think Daryl doesn't like anything right now. I think he's still going through some emotional shit. And he doesn't like this place. He doesn't dislike this place. It's just the next fucking step of bullshit city that he's had to live through over the past year or so.
I agree with
think
that.
he's just fucking depressed as fuck, and that's where he is.
Yep.
Yeah, and also it's like, I mean, there's all of that, and because of all those issues, he is nowhere near a point where he is willing to trust these people yet. But he's not there. It's like he's gotten used to his life and you know the way shit has been, and just breaking free from that after everything that Daryl's been through is going to be extraordinarily difficult.
Right, and plus,
I got a job for him. I know what job he should fucking do.
Town drunk, I already said it.
yeah,
No.
but
I mean, really. I mean,
Oh, you want a useful
you've got all
job?
you've got all this canned food. You've got all this dried whatever. Have that motherfucker go hunting, like for actual meat, actual fresh meat.
right, because he needs to
Make
do
him the fucking
something.
hunter of the place.
Yeah, because if he doesn't do anything, he's gonna go
There's
bored.
nobody better qualified.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, boredom will kill you. It will
Yeah,
kill
but that's after. It's like, I mean, he starts becoming a little bit more acclimated because he ain't there yet. It's like I would love DeAno to try to go ahead and tell him what to do at this point. He ain't ready.
That would be funny.
But it's like, I almost feel bad for Norman Reedus, though. It's like everybody else on the show, for the first time in like I don't even know how long, got to be all clean and
Feeling
wear
good.
nice clothes and not have, you know, like the dirt makeup all over the stuff. Everybody else, except Daryl, it's like he's still stuck with that shit.
They still got him gutting otters on the front porch.
Yeah, in
I
public.
was gonna say like
I mean, it's been so long since I've seen Andrew Lincoln without a beard. I actually forgot what he looked like.
Right, same here.
Yeah.
So it's like, so it's
same
like when that shit is like, it was like I had flashbacks to like fucking season 1 and shit. I was like, oh yeah, he did look like that. Right.
When I saw him shaving his beard, I was like, don't cut it off. Leave it alone.
But it's so different now. Like, damn, Rick, looks like you aged without that beard.
I realized when he was talking to that lady out by the thing, it just dawned on me, and I was like,
lady
oh
out by the
shit, that
thing.
beard's coming off today.
Well, it has to, really. Into my book, it has to come off because he was trying to start a new life.
I thought it was going to come off last week.
I guess I got to shave now.
Well, it's like it was. I guess I can shave now. It's like I can shave and have my personal stylist, you know, come on by and, you know, do something with the hair.
the
Right.
twins.
You
That's
you
what
actually
it is.
can
I
do
was
that.
trying to
Seriously, it's
remember.
like-
You look like the baby twins. Todd. The
Yes.
baby twins. That's who it is.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah,
What are
that's
their
in the
names?
lower
What are their
third.
names?
Look, Phil and Lil. Look at the lower third. Yeah.
Oh,
What? Really?
Look at
Wow.
that little third. I
There
mean,
we go.
lower third.
That was so slow. Come on,
This
dude.
is
Come
like,
on.
while we're on the subject, it's like we kind of talked about this before we started broadcasting. Todd, what in the fucking hell have you done here? Did you lose a bet? I mean, did you owe someone money? And
I owe myself money. I did lose a bet with myself. I was going for Uncle Fester, but chickened out, and then I went with Phil and Lil. Purely intentionally. What the fuck was that? my ashtray literally just hissed. Something like
That means you're lying.
Is there a snake in your ashtray?
it was a
Oh
match.
shit! It's like if this ashtray has become sentient, it's like we might have like the first ever like death on via Hangouts.
And
See,
maybe we are on our way.
That was
Maybe we are on
sulfur.
our
That
way
was
to
the powers of
something
hell
something
coming to my
awesome.
rescue right there. That's what that was. The sulfur was igniting to
I
save
wish.
an awkward moment. Like,
I wish Phil came for me last night. Like, oh, please come for me, please. Oh, damn it. Nope. Gotta still stay here. Thank you for nothing, Def.
Now I was like, I have a question for you guys. What in the hell do y'all think happened with that gun that Rick had?
I
That
do. I have
there
an
no
answer.
more.
I think it was the girl. I think the girl who ran off took it, and I think, which is actually exactly what I was going to say. I think we're going to be doing a lot of speculating in these discussions because not a lot's going to happen, but there's
Yeah.
going to be a ton of questions every episode if they do it right. Because we're going
yeah.
from Walking Dead to House of Cards. Soon it'll be Game of Thrones. This is my prediction of the progression of how we're going to view it. But yeah, I think that little girl got it, and I think Rick is going
Who,
to
Enid?
with somebody else, and then he's going to be wrong.
Okay.
I think Enid got it. I think that just like the group was being followed by two ghosts that eventually recruited them and brought them into whatever, I'm thinking that maybe there was a third person, or maybe there was a second group of recruiters out there.
Or maybe it's just
Something like
paranoia.
that.
Possibly.
They were ghosting them that saw Rick fucking hide that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then there's another question out there. Where in the fuck is Morgan?
That is a good
Oh,
question.
yeah,
Where-
we haven't seen him in a while now.
Yeah,
where the fuck you?
Morgan's back in Georgia.
possible, but it's like
Yeah, he was.
he was, but it's like it would not have made sense to keep showing these scenes with him in them if it wasn't eventually going to become very
He
important.
needs to make a point
So
somehow.
it's like, I mean, he's gotta be important. It's like something has to happen regarding Morgan.
Yeah, it could have been
in
Morgan.
the last episodes of the show.
Right. We need
Now,
some.
okay, what if somebody from Negan's camp took that gun, and that's the reason why Rick goes
That's a
ballistic
good
on
point.
someone?
That's a great point, and I'm going to get to that later. Don't let me forget. That's my wild speculation.
Yeah,
Good.
it's like I honestly don't think we'll see the Saviors yet, not this season.
Well, I'm
Now,
sorry.
also, do you feel the 4 people that she exiled are anybody related to the Negan crew?
Yes,
Possibly,
I don't.
yeah. However, that's really risky on her part because the Saviors you don't want to fuck with. Even with Negan there, you don't want to fuck with them because they are just mercenary monsters. And so when you exile them, they pretty much make a pact with somebody to make sure you're not going to get screwed over in the end. And that's how pretty much Alexandria was pretty much made. They made a pact with the devil. And this is how it is right now. It's sad, but it's true.
Okay, so you're saying they made a
those
pact with the
3
devil.
people-
Who's the devil? Rick and crew?
No. Negan's crew, the Saviors.
But Negan's crew ain't in Alexandria.
Mm.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna. Can I jump to my wild speculation since it's directly involved with this?
absolutely.
Okay, I think that Negan has already made the deal, whereas in the comic books we might see when Negan first comes. But I think in this, he's already made the deal with the woman. He killed her husband and one of her sons, and she's bringing Rick there not to be a constable, but to be the military force.
Or protect them. Really.
They're all
I
now-
could go with that. I can see that.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah,
I can see that. Yeah.
because if you think
That
about
makes
it
a lot of
now,
sense.
yeah, because like before, like Rick's
I mean, I do think it's interesting that on the show we're dealing with, DeAno Monroe and not Douglas Monroe. It's like, so, I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, there would have to be a reason for that. And as far as reasons go, things playing out like that would be a pretty good one.
And that changes it to something else and makes it good. So that means something horrible doesn't have to happen. That's all I'm saying.
Because I look at it as Aaron and Aaron's husband were following Rick's people because they were looking for someone to have some kind of good background against killing walkers, because obviously her crew sucks.
Badly. They are terrible. Yes,
They rather play let's pull the skin off the walker versus let's just kill the bitch.
Yeah, it's like, let's almost get Tara killed, because that's a great idea. It's like, I was really surprised that Glenn didn't knock him out right then and there.
Right.
Like,
they think they're the shit. That's the funny thing, is they think they're the shit.
You shouldn't play with
Well,
walkers.
no, the thing I did not understand in that scene was that, yes, the walker did kill your friend, but why are you keeping the walker alive to make it suffer? Just kill the
because he's an idiot.
Because during the whole situation, I was almost screaming at my TV, just stab the fucker in the head.
Right. It's like you don't play with walkers. Walkers are not human. They have no.
They're not toys. They're not freaking toys.
I do like.
Yeah, and that's what he was treating him as, was very directly a toy. So something to play with. It's like he was even saying, it's like, their pre-scouting ritual, or whatever the fuck. It's like, just something that we do. And see, the thing about the folks in Alexandria is, like, they don't really understand how dangerous of a world they are in, because Alexandria is
they've been sheltered too long.
Particularly for Aiden, because this is where they've been since the beginning of the outbreak.
Right.
It's like, so he has no idea what life is like out there. None.
Yo, man, they had fucking surround sounds, badass TVs, everything you can think of in this house.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure with the video games they have a limited supply of, and those games can get old fast.
Yep.
Listen, Zombie Apocalypse, I'm playing all the games I can. I don't care if I have 10 games.
Oh, so would I. But eventually,
I'm sure they'll play
Left 4 Dead and Dead Rising.
you can only play.
They only have Call of Duty zombies in Walking Dead. They don't have.
You can only play Banjo-Kazooie so many times before you want to put a bullet in your brain.
Well, what about the internet? Do they have the internet?
Fun fact, Banjo-Kazooie.
How would they have the internet?
There would be no internet.
Exactly.
You realize they had no
Exactly.
phone. So
Because anybody
stop while you're ahead.
Only
sir. Stop while you're
games
ahead.
that be able to
I want to ask this question. I must ask this question.
No
capability. There's this question.
Zero.
How in the world did they find batteries for that camera? I mean, seriously.
It's
At
rechargeable.
the battery store.
It's rechargeable,
Yes.
and you realize they do have electricity, probably running off
did.
of generators because they did have solar panels.
Yes.
Isn't that wasting electricity on a small dinky thing?
Well, no.
They have it to spare. They have generators. What the fuck do they care?
Hey, you never know sometimes. You might need that energy for something
You
else.
never know, because you refuse
Yeah.
to. Because he's like, yeah, you never know. You never know.
Yeah. You never know, except for the fact that they actually explained how they have electricity in the episode. Other than we actually knowing 100% how they have power, yeah, you never know.
Exactly. Thank you. In The Last of Us, they explained how they got power. The Hoover Dam nonsense power generator.
And
Hydro.
they explained it here too.
Yes,
Dude,
they
did you
did.
not realize they
Right
had
after the
solar
zombie
fucking
apocalypse, we
panels?
set up this fucking solar array.
I've
Like,
heard.
she said that. That was a conversation that they had.
Anyways, folks,
I don't think we need that story. I've heard it enough. It's in every single survival story and zombie story. I think that's just given knowledge. We don't see them poop. We don't need to see how they'll have electricity when they do get it.
Right.
Although we can
Yeah.
we can see problems like, when it becomes relevant to the plot and the electricity is breaking, then we can explore it. Until then, I personally don't care.
I was going to say, it's not like they have a lot of houses. There's probably only like 20 houses in this entire thing that have people in them.
And look, guys, they remember going back to when the governor had his little spot. They had solar fucking panels too.
Yeah, but
Did they have power like at the governor or I
Yes,
thought
they had power
generators.
too.
it did.
Yeah,
But
they did.
the reason why I said energy and all that power nonsense is because it leads into my speculation. But we going from there.
Okay, we're actually going to go ahead and kick it about speculation time right now, so you might as well go for it. Go ahead, kick things off, Izzy.
So the scouters that was with Glenn and them, I think they're going to die. not by Walker's hands, but by another entity, like I said, from the Saviors, because the Saviors are not really kind people whatsoever. And when they start that war with Alexandria and Rick's crew, then they're going to die first because they're weak. They don't know how to they know how to survive, but not like how Glenn does, like how Rick does. And there's a reason why Aaron was looking for Rick and his crew, not because they know how to kill walkers, but they feel like Rick is more and his crew are more powerful or more capable on taking on survivors. Because if you think about it, Alexandria is pretty much slaves to the Saviors, like for protection or for anything else, because they can't fuck with them. They really cannot. And
Isaiah, I have ROTC training. I was almost a lieutenant.
And then that leads into more things too, because the power itself, who made that power supply? Did they really make it, or did they have the Saviors make it for them? It kind of gives you more things like how many things, what did the Saviors do for them? Like,
I don't think there's too many engineers and Saviors.
I'm just saying.
To that point about who made the power, her husband was an architect, so he probably has some knowledge in all of that shit.
But you need resources and materials.
It's actually far more likely that stuff was already there.
Right.
Yeah, an architect is not the same thing as an engineer. I mean, it's not even the same field.
Not even close.
Right. So do they have a backup plan? Does Alexander really have a backup plan for anything that might go wrong? And I don't see that. I don't see them have a backup plan. So I think Rick is their backup plan. If you think about it, they look so.
All right. To combat your speculation, you're saying that Rick and his group are going to be sort of Alexandria's answer to combat the Saviors, which is a fair thing, but I still think that in the whole ordeal, yeah, sure, Rick and them will probably fight against the Saviors. They're going to lose some of their own, possibly Noah going to die. I don't know, maybe Gabriel, Father Gabriel, he might die. I don't know. But I just think in the end, I think Rick and his group are going to realize that the whole thing with Alexandria may have been a waste of time, and they are not going to stay, and they're going to leave Alexandria to their fate.
Why? Why would they leave?
We
didn't dwell on that awesome line. We did mention in the beginning how awesome it was, and we said, when Rick said, if it doesn't work, we're going to take it. But why would they ever leave?
Right.
It's fortified. It's full of weak people. They can take it.
Well, you know what? All right. On that subject, where Rick was telling his people that if this doesn't work out, we'll take it. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? I mean,
and then Daryl's face.
These people just offered you hospitality, and now you're already talking about taking it from them?
Because they're
weak.
No,
to be fair,
if it doesn't work out.
I was actually saying that same thing. What he said at the end of the episode, I was saying at the fucking beginning. Is that Rick was being super fucking paranoid, and I told DeAno this. I'm all like, dude, like, you don't need to be fucking paranoid because you're the biggest, baddest motherfucker in that area. You and your group.
And you're the main character of the show. I mean, you're probably gonna live.
If they try and hurt you, if they try and do any fucked up shit, you can take the place. And I said that at the beginning of the fucking episode.
However,
and he finally said it at the end.
Right, and we didn't see one character though. That one special character from Alexandria that we all, I know, and Dale might know, and Todd might know. Well, we haven't seen Paul yet, who is pretty much more capable of taking on a lot more things. He's just almost similar like Rick, but he's different. He's more kinder. But since we see that character, there's nothing in Alexandria.
That name is coming in my Ed, is that the name?
No, I'll tell you later. Trust me. But I can't say his whole name because people are gonna catch on. Like, what? But Paul, he's a really cool character that will tell you more about Alexandria. Because what we know about Alexandria is not enough. Paul will give us that full understanding of Alexandria.
I don't think it's a spoiler if you say that you think Jesus is coming.
The second coming.
Anyone else have any wild speculations?
Yes. Since I didn't have mine, I'd like to speculate briefly. My mother, hardcore Christian, she loves that there's all these Abrahams and all these religious names. And I just wonder, comic book readers who know this little fact, when Jesus does come and where he chooses to come, I wonder how my mother's going to feel then.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm really excited to see how she's going to turn on this show so violently.
Yeah, because, oh man, I can't really tell.
No, I'm saying.
No, because I can't tell you. That's a spoiler.
All right.
Viewers out there, you understand what I'm saying. The whole panel here might not, but the viewers definitely do.
Here is my speculation to be able to put a smile on Todd's face. Todd's overly religious mother is going to be sitting in her couch watching an episode of Walking Dead where they introduce a new character completely original to the TV show, a Hispanic man named Jesus who turns out to be badass.
Well, that's
can't say nothing, but I do want to say for the record for my mother, I will feel really bad though because she does love this show, and she's gonna hate it.
Trust me, man, I can't tell you. I just can't. I just can't. I'm sorry.
You do realize they might not follow none of the shit from the comic book going
But
forward.
some people will. Some people
They never
do.
follow it completely. They always take inspiration from it, and then they try to put their own spin on it.
No, you're missing.
Here they're sort of stuck to do a little more, be a little
Let
more.
me break down something here. When we saw Aaron who he was, I wasn't shocked because it was like, okay, so who cares? People out there who have not read a comic book whatsoever were all freaking out like there was no tomorrow. Like, oh my god, he was kissing another dude. They lost fan base. Are you fucking serious?
But Isaiah, do you see what they did there? See, they
Right.
didn't know. We didn't know whatever in the book. Now you know off, or no, you didn't. You knew off the bat in the books, and then that was a shock here. But then when something happens later, which you know what, that's really gonna be shocking. And
Yes, it will be. So these people who don't read comics, that's a really, again, I have to stress this a little bit more though, is that when people who don't read the comics do not understand why these characters are here, do not understand why they're doing this and that. And yes, there's some parallel difference, but overall it's The Walking Dead, and there's a big meaning with the comics and the show itself. And when people don't understand it, they're going to
Isaiah, if they took everything from the comic books and put it into the show exactly how it was done in the comic books, nothing would surprise people who've read the comic books. Nothing.
No, that's not the thing though. The thing is, like, key characters. Not talking about the Bible. I'm not talking about all the action. No, I'm talking about key characters that people will pick up on. And when you know that key characters just X, Y, and Z, they will freak the fuck out. Obviously, I can't tell you how that's gonna be, but I know. Trust me, I really do.
We know you can't say anything about it, so yeah.
Even DeAno knows it too.
Anyone else have any
Said too much already.
Anyone else have any speculations?
I have a speculation. One more.
Oh, Jesus. All right, go.
Wait, I got one more speculation for our next show, The Blacklist. We're going to do a discussion
I need
at
to watch.
10:30, and I speculate I at least am going to be bored off my ass. And this is the first time I've ever said this about The Blacklist. I despised this episode.
That's nothing
Boy.
new.
Damn,
I feel
Todd,
like
thanks for that, because I still have to watch the
Be all
fucking
at
show.
10:30 for that crap.
But
Oh, wow.
again, my speculation is they might have a cool bed like DeAno's, because that's a cool bed back there.
Okay, folks.
Then. On that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of Geeks It Around. This has been a fun discussion. Another episode coming up next week. We're building up toward that finale, and Geeks It Around will be with you every single step of the way at youtube.com/geeksitaround. If you have anything for us, you can always email us, geeksitaround@gmail.com. And as always, we invite and implore you to come and join the Geeks It Around community. You'll find the link for that down in the description for this video right underneath that like button. Until next time, this has been the Geeks It Around discussion for The Walking Dead. My name is DeAno Jackson, and we will see you next week.